Ding dong YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Jobless Coder, and today we have a special live stream gameplay from Halloween Decoration Sandbox. This is version 1.3 update. I don't do live streams that often, so if there's any technical difficulties, let me know in the chat. I have my phone open here so I can monitor the chat. Normally you'd have multiple monitors where one can be monitoring the quality of the stream, where other monitors can be monitoring the chats from YouTube, but I only have the laptop here, so I'm going to be monitoring that on my phone. This is going to take probably an hour. I'm looking here, it looks like there's a countdown in the YouTube settings. It says stream out of an hour. I don't remember that. That seems to be new. So if the stream cuts out after an hour, I guess that will be it, but I'll show as much gameplay as I can. And without further ado, I guess we'll get started. Now, before I do start, I want to say thank you to anybody that's subscribed to the channel. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and share it out. I also said that I was going to be doing an update at the beginning of the month, but as things usually take longer than you expect them to take, I got it done now. This morning we've been working on fixing some bugs, and we're going to be doing some more bug fixing when this is done to make sure that everything's good before we make the build live. But if you pick up a copy of the game, make sure to look for the update coming out sometime probably later today or early tomorrow morning. So let me switch to my desktop here. All right. I also wanted to mention that I picked up this asset pack from the Unity store about 3 or 4 days ago. So if you see the just make sure. Yep. So if you see this asset pack, it has about 200 or 300 different stuff in it. I'm going to be working over the next couple months to get all this incorporated into the sandbox. Obviously, I just picked it up, so it's not going to be ready for the update today, but it will eventually come. We do have some new decorations though that I'm going to show, and I'm also going to have to turn down the sound here when the game starts up because I don't want it to be too loud. I want you to be able to hear my microphone as well. So turn that down. All right, here we go. Also, there is a link in the description below. If anybody wants to enter, there's a contest that I'm doing now, a giveaway for the game. I'll pick one person at the end of the screen. You just have to fill out your email in the Google Forms and send it in, and we'll do that as well. So, the first thing you'll notice, I added a new toolbar in the main menu here. It shows you all the update information. So going forward, if you ever need to know any information about things that have been changed or fixed in the game, you just click on the little icon up here, and it should automatically pop up the first time you start the game, and then it'll record and save that, so that way it doesn't bother you every time you load it up. The big update, this is the big one, is being able to modify the location of decorations. So previously, when you placed down a decoration, you weren't able to modify its position, which was the big problem, because if you placed down several decorations and wanted to, say, delete one, you'd have to undo everything you did after that point. But now I've got that fixed. So I'm going to load up here one of the sandboxes that I made the first year the game came out in October of 2020. This sandbox took me about an hour to make. I made it really fast because I was under a lot of time constraints. I was being rushed, ran out of time. So when it loads up, you'll see all the decorations in there. I always wanted to be able to come back into the sandbox at some point and be able to modify it after I had moved things around. So now you can see if you hover over one of the decorations, they highlight yellow. And if you want to move a decoration, say this car, for example, I can select it, and then I can drag the car to a new position, and then I can save that change. Now I can also undo and redo that change. And if I click on the escape menu here, it resets. So I can move it around in bi-directional using the spider web, or I can move it in a particular direction using the skeleton hands like this. And if I wanted to just delete that decoration, I can do it like that. And there's the decorations gone. So let's zoom in on this zombie here. I can also hide the decoration from view. Okay, that seems to be not working. Another benefit of doing these live streams is that it not only gives you guys as the viewers a chance to see what the game is like and the current state that it's in, but it also gives me a chance to bug fix on, not bug fix, but uh, what's what I'm looking for? Bug test on the fly. So I should be able to hide that zombie from view, but that's not working. I will select an object though that I do know is working, which is the car, and you can hide it from view like that. So we can move it around. If we set the position, it automatically comes back into view like that. You'll also notice that the terrain looks a little bit weird. That's because we're having some issues with the shaders at the moment. This grid needs to have holes in it. It's like a grid that goes over top of it. We upgraded the Unity project from 2020 to 2021, and that broke a bunch of stuff in the background. It's one of those, what you see is not what you get. It works in the editor just fine, but in the actual game, it doesn't play properly. So if that's bothering you, just disable the grid like that. You'll be able to see everything fine. So let's go up and start a new sandbox. And I can show you some of the new decorations that we've got in. Now, while you can move the decorations around now, the rotation and scaling is still being worked on. So eventually when I get that done, you'll be able to rotate the decoration, move it, and rescale it to whatever size you want after it's already been placed down. All right. As well, there is a link in the description below to the Steam page if you want to give that a look and give it a play. So let's just start by placing down a few of the new decorations here. If I go into the buildings panel, I've got two new buildings. One is house 2 and one is log cabin 2. So we'll start by placing house 2. Yep. And then I want to put some of the cardboard cutouts into the windows there. So select cardboard cutouts. Let's place a pumpkin in the window. I also see it's automatically selecting the buildings, so we will have to fix that. So which in the window? Let's place a ghost in that window. And if you place the cardboard cutouts on a building and then you select the building and move that building around, the cardboard cutouts automatically move with the window position like that. You can rotate the camera using the C and the X buttons. The Q and the Z move it up and down, and then you can use WASD to move it around. We want to implement more camera controls, E and R for zooming in and out. More camera controls to match, 3D modeling software stuff, being able to rotate the camera. We can do that by right-clicking. But in Unity, you can hold the Alt and then also right-click to zoom in and out. So that's something I'm going to be looking at implementing at some point too. So let's just zoom up here. And let's add a fence around this. You'll notice there's a new furniture category. We'll take a look at that afterwards. And the way that the fences work right now is not particularly great because rotate that. You can only place one at a time. So if I place this fence down here, then I have to go and get another fence to place. I do have some ideas of ways to optimize that, where you just place one and then you determine how many fences you want it to go lengthwise. But now we'll just do these fences by hand. Sometimes you get issues like that, so we'll just remove that one and try again. Now, let's rotate the fence this way, scale it up. I'm going to put it here, one here. If you want to clone an object which saves its rotation and position, just hit Tab instead. That way you don't have to select it every time. So hit Tab, Tab, Tab. Zoom out here. Now, go this way. Tab, Tab, Tab. So we're going to move the starting position inside here. If you want to take a look at what it looks like from the first person view, you just have to do that. And I'll make a save too. Just going to save this as Halloween Stream 2022. Oh. Okay, it looks like saving is not working, so we'll have to fix that tonight before we send it out. That is unfortunate. We'll just have to use the autosave feature then for now. There's a new furniture category. There's 6 items of furniture in here. You'll notice that there's this grandfather clock, so we're going to put one here. I'm going to put another one on the side of the house there. And if you zoom into it, you can actually see that the hands are working with the actual time. And when you're playing it and you get up close, you'll hear there's like a ticking sound. So we added a bunch of sound effects to some of the decorations as well. So on this side of the house, let's put in the warp tunnel. Let's rotate it this way and scale it up twice. And also, there is new patterns for the warp tunnel. So there's a blood splatter pattern, eyeballs, spider webs, and ghosts. And that's in addition to all the other ones. So we'll use the ghost one for now. Set that position there. And then on the other side here, let's add one of the new special effects we have. There we go. There's this really nice toxic waste pipe special effect. We're going to scale that up really large. Let's rotate it so that it's kind of right at the end of the pipe, just like that. And there's also a sound effect for that too. Sounds really cool. So those come in 2 different colors. There's a green one, but then there's also a purple one here. Make a little purple one on this side. If I move the spawn location over here, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's that kind of flowing sound coming from them. And if we move the player's starting position near the clocks, you can hear them ticking like that. So let's put a fence on this side too. There's also no way to move the camera while we're placing decorations, so I'll have to add that in as well. Now, I mentioned before I'm also working on the Christmas Decoration Sandbox, and a lot of the stuff that's going to be implemented in that game is going to come from this, plus a bunch of new features. I'm not going to talk too much right today about those features, but there's a lot of really unique things that pertain to Christmas that don't necessarily relate to Halloween, and so make sure to look for that game as well. That should be coming sometime in December. We're going to be going on vacation with the family here very shortly. Next week, we're going to the NASCAR race in Arizona. So as soon as I get back from that, I'm going to be full steam ahead working on the Christmas game. I see I got a question. Good job. Well, I mean, I do work for Jason Effects on Bare Back Streets. I've mentioned that a couple times on the channel, and so that's the project for me where I make my money, and then this one is my pet project that I work on as well. I'm not very good at marketing, I'll openly admit that. It's one of my, what's what I'm looking for, places I'm lacking in. So when it comes to someone like Jason Effects and his game, he's a lot better at marketing, and he's managed to get quite a lot of support for the game, which is something I would struggle to do on my own. So for that, I just work on his project, and a lot of the stuff that we use in Bare Backstreets is actually shared between the projects. You know, we're a small studio, it's myself and a couple other guys, so by working on, by sharing the code between us, we can limit the amount of work we have to do instead of, you know, building things twice or more. Almost done with the fences here. Okay. Now, one of the other new decorations here, I'm going to put over here, is a coffee table. And on the coffee table, we are going to put a vintage TV. And we can turn the static on the TV too. Now, in front of the house, let's put some of the new standing objects. Yeah, I'm also seeing there's an issue with the menu not disappearing properly. Let's put a pumpkin here. And this is an inflatable object, so there's like an air type sound when you stand next to it. And then we'll put a pumpkin over here. We've got 5 different faces for them. And put another one over here maybe. So I don't know if you can hear that sound coming through. That's the air sound for that. And I've been playing with shaders a lot recently. I'm just starting to learn how, you know, vertex shaders and displacement shaders work. So I'm going to see if I can make a shader to kind of add a bit of motion to these so that they don't just look static, so that it looks like they're kind of like flopping around a little, like air's flowing through them, as you would see with a, you know, an actual inflatable. There's also the inflatable Reaper here too. We'll add him next to there. Now, over here, a new building. This is the log cabin too. And so, I'm going to put that maybe facing this way. Take the camera around. I thinking maybe speed up the camera rotation a little bit. It's a little slow. So let's rotate this way. So there's some more buildings that we have. I just haven't got them implemented. Plus whatever buildings come with that graveyard pack will be added in. There's gravestones, there's fog effects, there's buildings, lights, fences, all that's going to be implemented eventually at some point. I also want to have potential modding support. At the very least to be able to share the sandboxes you've made. I'm not quite sure if I'll open it up yet to allow you to make custom decorations, but we might do that too. Put an outhouse in front of the and you can see, you can move the outhouse and undo that move. Oh, yeah. Game dev is not that easy. I mean, I've been doing it since 2012. You notice that on the starting screen when it came up, 2012 to 2022. I've been doing it for a decade, and I've never really made any money on my own personal games, just what I've been able to do as like contract gigs for other people. Yeah, hopefully eventually some of my own games will start making some money so that I can keep doing them as well. So let's set this coffin upright. Put it there. Oh yes, if you select an object, you can also zoom into it here. And it looks like the zoom doesn't work if the camera's facing the wrong way. So let me just reset the camera position. Okay, let's try that from the forward perspective. If I select this pipe and I want to zoom into it, okay, definitely need a little bit of work with that, depending on the scale and size of an object. There we go. Okay, so if I select this clock and zoom into it, or if I want to zoom into that pumpkin, it'll set the camera position. Now obviously the decorations are all different sizes, so I'm going to have to add some logic to figure out the size of each decoration before I scale it. Now let's just finish by closing off that fence here. One of the other things that's really interesting is that we live in town here with my parents, and so we're not in the countryside, so we do a little bit of Halloween decorating. Not much. My mom's not a big fan of Halloween. She's more into Christmas. But we have kids come by, so I printed off a bunch of Steam codes, and for Halloween when they come by to trick or treat, we hand out the Steam codes for the game as well as candy. So they get the game and they also get some candy. Alright, so now the fence is closed in there. Let's rotate this way. Oh, there's something really weird going on with the camera angle. Okay. Like the abandoned food truck. That's really neat. And I'm gonna add some more lights in here. Now, I didn't really do anything this year in terms of lights. I still have this light that one of my friends made me last year, so we're gonna add some of those in here because I really like it. we also have the projectors still. So we can pick the shape projector, and let's see if we can project something onto the front of the house here. So there's the strobe light. Maybe I'll add a strobe light there. And over here, let's add, let's go with the green skulls over there. And on this side, add some pumpkins. Scale that up slightly. So those lights also rotate when we're in the game. I also have a dot projector here that just projects a bunch of dots. Maybe I'll put that on the other side. I want to have color options added in eventually, where you'll be able to pick the color. Right now, the only color on this dot projector light is pink, so we can see some of the lights projecting onto here. And what's really neat about that is that they're actually affected by the fog machine. So if you go under special effects, you can find the fog machine, and then we can add that in, maybe facing this way. Maybe rotate it a little so there's fog coming out the other end here. We're using the standard shader pipeline for this project because when I started it, I didn't know there was a difference between universal render, standard render, high definition render, and trying to get the lighting to work in the other two is almost impossible. My biggest gripe with Unity is the lighting settings when it comes to the standard when it comes to the universal pipeline and the high definition ones. It's either way too bright and oversaturated or way too dark. So when I finally got the lighting to work the way I wanted it to, it was like, oh, I didn't know there was a difference between these, and I've already built out the lighting in the standard pipeline now, so I'm kind of stuck with it. I should at some point update it to use the high definition pipeline, because for the VR it's kind of blurry, I will admit that. And I think by making it high definition pipeline, it will help with the blurriness of the virtual reality. But we'll be starting with high definition render pipeline for the Christmas games, so that'll come out sometime in December when I get that ready. So let's have a look around here. So there's the strobe light flashing. I also increased the size of the warp tunnel here because it was really small. It didn't fit the size of the player well, and so it was kind of claustrophobic going through it. Now there's a lot more room above and to the sides of us to be able to see what's going on here. There's also a mechanical grinding sound that you'll hear. It's the drum rotating. So we've added a lot of sound effects into the game, and there's a lot more sound effects to come still. So here you can see there's the fog being affected by that pink light I put over there. And that's what I was talking about before. I wanted the lighting to be just perfect. So when the fog comes out of the machine here, it gets affected by the ambience lights that are around, which is a really cool effect. I was actually found, well, I didn't found, I guess he found me. There's a YouTuber by the name of Tombstone Tech. I would definitely recommend you to go check out his channel. Shout out to Tombstone Tech. He followed me on the Twitter page, and it looks like he used to work in like special effects in Hollywood, and he talked about his love for the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland and trying to figure out how to do home haunts. So a lot of what he's doing is on his channel is showing people how to make certain things. Like one of the videos he put out was how to make the low-lying fog effect by cooling the fog after it comes out of the machine using dry ice. And so he followed me on the channel, and one of the things he talked about in one of his videos about the fog machine is that he views fog machines as a lighting tool, and that's exactly why, because you spray the fog into the ambient lights like that, and you get that kind of lighting effect. So I thought that was really neat that someone who is a professional special effects artist uses fog machines for lighting, which is exactly the intended purpose I did for these fog machines. As well, we can walk under the slime here and look into the slime coming down. Here's the TV. So let's see if we can do some more editing in here. Zoom back out. So, maybe on this side here. Oh, hang on. Go back and let's go to the scenery. Let's go to I'm gonna add in this. Whoops. That's not what I want. Come on. Did I accidentally? Oh, I did. Okay, let's undo that. I want to place a coffee table down here. I'm going to zoom into that coffee table. And on the coffee table, I'm going to place one of the new decorations that I added in last year. It's under, nope, not scenery miscellaneous, general miscellaneous. Come on. I can see these pages stacking up in behind. This is the one I want. Scenery. In total, there's about 200 or so unique decorations in the sandbox. By the time I add in those from the graveyard pack, there'll probably be 400, and then I'm going to be doing a lot more still. This is an ongoing project. This game came out in 2020, and now it's 2022, so I'm just going to keep adding things every year, add a little bit extra to the game. Here we go, Ouija board on the table. And then maybe we'll also make this little occult scene here by adding some candles. Add a candle. Really big candle there. See if I can find a smaller candle. Okay, I guess those are as small as the candles go. I might change their scale so that they can get a little smaller. This candle here. Candle there. Cool. Now we got a little occult scene going on with the Ouija board. And I think I might add another strobe light over here. And make it face this direction. Oh, okay. It looks like there's no light that's affecting that at the moment, so I'm gonna have to change that. Let's put the strobe light over here instead, next to the building. Make it face the bathroom, actually. And there it is there. I had done this the one time. Let's see if I can do it again. I'm going to put inside the outhouse. I'm going to put something inside there. We'll go to the standing object. Just a reminder, if you're just joining the stream, I also have a link in the description below where you can fill out a form to enter for a Steam code for a chance to get the game. I'll be doing a draw at the end here for anybody that's entered to pick someone. Oh yeah, it must be the collider. Now it wants to go on top of it. Okay, we'll put a zombie just in front of the thing there. I also have in the special effects, I've got some sound effect boxes. I'm not sure how well they're working right now. I didn't really get a chance to test them, but they were working the last time. So you pick from 5 different sound effects. 5 different sound effect boxes. Each one has 5 different sound effects inside of it. So there's a nature box, ambience box. This one has general sound effects, music box, and a demon box. So if I pick the music box, I can scale this up. This is the audio range. So if we want the music to play within this audio range, And I'm going to hide it just behind that coffee table so you can't see where it's coming from. So let's set the player spawn point here. And let's give that a look. See how that looks. Oh, I don't know if you can hear it there. Oh, that outhouse is really big. I definitely need to change the scale on that. I didn't realize how big that was. Let's add another light over here. See if we can mix the ambient colors together. So we've got pink going on. So if I pick from my list of lights here, and let's go with the blue bats, and we're going to make it face this side of the house over here. Let's see what that does to the color. So there are the blue bats. Spinning up at the windows here. Just wait for the fog to come out. I have a timer set on the fog machine. I want to be able to configure it so you can actually set your own timing. One of the things that this Tombstone Tech guy showed on his channel was the different settings that you can play with fog machines to get the effect that you want. And so I want to be able to configure how often the frequency comes on. Probably hard to tell. Now, I also have, under the modified terrain here, I have paint textures. This is something I added in last year. So if I wanted to, I could paint a cornfield over this way. So let me go and raise the camera up slightly. And rotate it back down. Let's paint a cornfield around this here. And I'm also going to add in a gravestone here to show you. I added this feature last year, but maybe not everybody saw it, or maybe this is the first time they're seeing this project. So I can pick this tombstone. It has a little edit button in the corner of it. If I want to, I can make sure to turn Customize Tombstone on before I place it. And then I'm going to scale it up slightly and rotate it around. And now you can see I can actually customize it, and it looks like it's conflicting at the moment with the setting thing. So I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but you can type in text here and then save it. Oh, let's see here. Did that work? Yep, there's the text I put in. You can also change the size and the type of text used as well. And then that gets saved, so the next time you load it in, it loads that texture and adds that change to the texture. Turn that off and go back. Let's add another. Put a focus time in that window there. Now, these are mountable objects, so they get mounted to an object like this building. I also have plans to add hanging objects that hang from rafters and stuff. So like this rooftop thing here, you could hang like a ghost or something down from it. That's not implemented yet, but you can also hang stuff from trees when I get that done. Unfortunately, there's very limited models for trees. Somebody made a review last year and they mentioned the fact that there was only like 3 trees to pick from, and that's something I would definitely like to change, so we'll add a tree right there for now. Maybe we'll put a stump in front of it too. And it's also worth noting that this game does have VR support, so you can go and walk around and look at your sandbox in VR once you've actually finished editing it. Also, the vegetation here. I only got sunflowers. I'm going to add some things like hay and stuff in there, and you have to place them one at a time, which is like really annoying. So I'm going to look for a better way to maybe select an area and it'll automatically fill them with sunflowers, as opposed to placing one at a time sunflowers like that. And of course, pumpkins as usual. We've got a good variety of pumpkins to pick from, and you can animate them too. So added a little bit of a flash to that pumpkin. Scale it up slightly, and put that pumpkin right there. Now, there's also this trick-or-treat point here. You can add trick-or-treat locations, and wherever you put a trick-or-treat location, you're going to be able to pick up a piece of candy. So let's add one right over here. And there's like a trigger collider around that box. And so when you go near it, it'll drop a piece of candy on the ground that you can pick up. And I think there's a maximum of 10. I don't remember if there's a max or not. I think there's a max of 10. So we'll put another trick-or-treat. Oh yeah, you can click on it. It'll zoom right into where it is. I want to, however, put one over here by the cabin as well. Now you can also modify the height of the terrain, but it's a little bit janky because sometimes the objects will clip under the terrain. I need to do a lot more work on the terrain editing system to be able to allow you to modify the terrain without destroying the general setup of how your decorations look. But I would generally recommend doing any terrain modification before placing decorations down, just to avoid any potential problems that could come from that as of now. Now this ball is really cool because it's actually reflective, so if I put that right here, let's change the player spawn location here, and then we'll go back into the first person viewer. And you can see it's actually a crystal ball that's reflecting the stuff around it. You can see the moon reflecting in the skybox up there. Now, this is really cool too. Some of these decorations are actually animated, so I'm going to place that right next there, and then I'll go back and show you what happens when we get close to it. Just like some people have in their Halloween displays in their front yard, certain animatronics that are triggered by motion control, we've got them in the game here as well. So if I get right up near this, it pops out like that. So if you don't know that that does it, you can actually probably scare someone, but now you know because you've been watching this live stream. I'm going to get my friend to make some animations for one of the other models I've got here in the standing objects. Let's pick, where did he go? This guy here. He's really creepy. It's almost like Slenderman, but not quite. I do have Slenderman too, actually, now that I mention it. Let's put Slenderman hiding behind here in the sunflowers. You can see his eyes glow through the fog, which is really creepy. I'm going to have him animated where you get up near him and he will shake around violently, like some of the animatronics that you might see at the, what's it, the Halloween store. I'm blanking on the name right now, but you know what I mean. The Halloween store that takes over like abandoned Sears places for a month at a time. Alright. I think I'm almost done. I'm just going to add one more. I'm going to put another warp tunnel over here using a different pattern. So let's scroll down. Let's select, here we go, warp tunnel, and we're going to go with, let's say blood splatter. That one's pretty spooky. Set the starts right to here. Now we can go up through it. So that was a model that I actually did myself. Some of these models, most of them are like free models that we found on CG Trader or what's the other one? Turbo Squid. Here's the candy, pick it up. Some of them are custom made ones, like that one. This pipe is custom made. I followed a YouTube tutorial for that one. It's a guy that has a really cool tutorial for making those slime pipes. And then I think the other trick-or-treat thing was over here. Now that I'm noticing it, the UI doesn't seem to be working. There should be a little indicator in the top corner that shows the number of candies you've collected.
Happy Halloween, trick or treat.
We'll pick up that candy too. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. That's cool. You can hit print screen anytime. It'll make a screenshot in where the save locations are. There's another thing in there for the screenshots. That's what I'm looking for. My brain is fried right now. Yeah, this is some of the issues we're having this morning, where it works in the editor, but the transparency of that mesh is not displaying in the game. It had to do with upgrading to 2021. We're still using old shaders, and I have to make some new shaders for the shader graph to get that fixed. At the moment, some of the stuff like the cardboard cutouts, to fix that, I had to turn the shader from cutout to fade. If anybody works in Unity, they'll know exactly what that means. Hold on. I'm gonna reset position. Here we go. Now, another good thing too about having the clock is that I can actually monitor the time. It looks like we got 5 minutes here to the hour. So I might do a little bit more decorating here before I end this live stream, because then I'll be going for an hour. It might automatically end because of YouTube's settings, if they have it only at a maximum of hour that you can do a live stream. But before I do, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this live stream. Hopefully you enjoy what you've seen, and hopefully you'll pick up a copy of the game if it interests you, or if you want to win a copy of the game and you're just new to this live stream, then make sure to click on the link in the description. There's a Google form to fill out and put your email address in, and then I can be able to pick someone after this to send a copy of the game to. You can also place candy down here directly, so I can put a little ring pop right there on the steps. It's basically a candy right behind it. Now, there are some things I mentioned I got about 70% of what I wanted done. I wanted to add some more sound effects. I'm going to be adding some sound effects to the chainsaws. Right now they're just silent, but they act as good props in the background. So definitely lots more planned for sound effects, lots more planned for models, better train editing, the better camera angles. So this is definitely a work in progress game that we're going to be continuing to do work on. And then also doing work on the Christmas Decoration Sandbox game that's going to contain a lot of the same logic that we used in this game as well. Now, one of the other things I didn't even show in this video is that we have ability to change lighting. So if I set the skybox here and I go to the lighting options, I can actually change the directional light color here. So this changes the ambience of the thing, so we can kind of make it whatever color we want to add to our ambience. We can also change the intensity, so we can make it really oversaturated or just kind of barely noticeable. So let's make it a kind of like greeny color, maybe a little bit darker. You can also rotate the skybox, or not the skybox, but the directional light here. You can set whether or not there's shadows on there. So just by changing a little bit of the lighting settings, we've already changed how the scene looks as a whole. I'm going to reduce that slightly. I also want to add at some point weather options to change the weather patterns to have it, you know, if you want it, it could be raining, there could be lightning in the sky, all sorts of cool things. Probably some of them we could even do with shader graphs as well. Let me put another strobe light on this side here. Right. Strobe light. Back through the warp tunnel here. We'll just wait a minute here to show you what the clock does when you hit the hour. I figured the clock would be a good prop to add in. Obviously, everyone who watched Stranger Things this summer knew about the clock motif that was seen throughout the show. That was definitely my favorite season of Stranger Things. So I'm like, oh, we have to have a grandfather clock. That's just extra spooky. I guess it's got 1 minute left. Just let him move. So, as soon as we hit the hour there, I'll be done for the stream. I'm going to thank everyone who watched. Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, or share it with your friends. There you go. 2, 3. There you go. It chimes 3 times. Perfect. Alright. So with that, I will be done. Let's quit. And thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.